everybody, my name's Elisa. I am a wife and a mom to a 15-year-old boy who is up in his room playing video games as usual. So I thought I would throw together some banana muffins with chocolate chips today, since we have some very sickly looking bananas and I don't want to toss them, so we're going to bake. So let's get rolling. So I'm using my KitchenAid because it is a lot easier than mixing by hand. If you don't have a KitchenAid, you can easily use this. You can easily make these just by mixing by hand. It is not that difficult, but yes, I am lazy. So we're going to start with 1 stick of butter and 1 cup of sugar, which we will measure out right here. And just let these things blend together until completely combined. So this recipe is my mom's recipe, which she handed down to me years ago, but she's been making since I was a little girl, and I am now, so it's been a long time, but thank you to my cameraman. It's been a long time that I've been making this banana bread, and it's delicious. So as the butter and sugar are combining, we're going to grab the next couple of ingredients. 2 eggs and our 2 bananas, which we will peel and mash. Just with the back of a fork is okay. If you had a potato masher, you could use that. That would work equally as well. Take off all the little stringies and this top end, which is super bad. Looks like our butter could use a little bit of help. I'm going to stop it real quick. Push the butter off. And let it go again. So as your butter and sugar are combining, remember to take a peek into your mixer here to make sure the butter isn't sticking to the mixer part or the paddle attachment. And it's looking pretty good. So we're going to stop that. And I know it's loud. Here we go. So grab a fork and just use the back of your fork to mash the banana. And it's going to be the consistency of like baby food or complete mush when we are ready. Okay. All right. All right, once your banana is all mashed really well, then we're going to add that along with the eggs to our mixture. Okay. I like to use larger bananas because I like that it might have a little bit more flavor and the banana gives some moisture to the bread or the muffin. Typically I'll make this as a banana bread, but I decided to just do muffins today because it's a little bit easier for the kid to grab. But if you just have 2 smaller bananas or mid-sized bananas, that's okay too. Okay, so here we go. Pull this up. We have our 2 eggs. Okay. Yes, I know I should probably crack these into a separate cup in case a shell gets in there, but I usually just go directly in it and hope for the best. And our banana. And we're just going to add it all. Put it all in there. Actually, we can also add, we have 1/4 of a cup of milk. I use 1% milk because that's just what I have on hand, but you could use 2%, you could use whole milk. Whatever you have on hand is just fine. And we're going to mix this up. All right, when this is just about mixed up, we're going to add our vanilla in. And we're just going to, whoopsie, we don't want to spill it. We're just going to use 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I prefer the pure vanilla as opposed to the imitation vanilla. I just like the flavor of it better. So 1 teaspoon of vanilla and keep mixing. Okay, next we're going to add our dry ingredients, which are just a couple of things. We're going to add 2 cups of flour and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So here I have my cup. I like to put the flour into my measuring cup with the spoon so that way it doesn't pack it in. So there you go. One cup, and let's move this in, and 1 more cup of flour. And you guys, if you haven't poured your sugar and flour into containers, if you're bakers, life altering, I promise. And I just did this fairly recently. I was using all of my ingredients right out of the package. And not that it's that difficult, but having it in just a big container where I can scoop up quickly makes such a difference. So, all right, 2 cups. All the flour is in, and we're gonna add our baking soda. So here we go, dry off the measuring spoon so there's no vanilla left on it. That would be pour. And 1 teaspoon of baking soda. There we go. Add that right in. And now we're just going to mix that all up until it's completely combined. So while this is mixing, I tend to try and put my ingredients away, or at least get them packaged back up so I don't have so much to do once they're in the oven. So we're just going to get these back up here. Those are going back in the cabinet. And if we haven't turned our oven on yet, this is typically when I'll turn it on. We're going to put it on bake at 350 degrees. All right, once it's all finished mixing, we are just going to lift the paddle, scrape off what we can to make sure to get as much of the batter into the banana muffins as possible. Okay. And now if you don't like chocolate chips, you don't have to add them. If you prefer nuts, you can add some nuts or whatever it is that you like in your banana bread. We are a chocolate chip family. So it's about a cup of chocolate chips. You can add more, you can add less. It depends on your mood. I typically will go for a little bit less, only because I like to taste the banana bread more than the chocolate. But you can eyeball it. And we're just going to stir the chips into the batter. And this is a good amount for me. It's not overly chocolatey, and my son likes the chocolate chips, but he prefers it to not be overly chocolatey. And this way I don't have to open a new bag just for a few. We can just toss this and be done. All right, so we're going to move over here where I have my cupcake pans. Now, if you like, where are my liners? If you like, you can just spray the cupcake pan with some non-stick cooking spray. I prefer to put liners in because that makes it even easier for cleanup. Oops. All right, so we have our liners in, and now we're just going to distribute the batter equally into each. Now, it has been many, many moons since I've actually made banana muffins out of the banana bread recipe. So I'm not going to say just fill it up halfway, because honestly, I don't remember how high I had it last time. But you know what? There's nothing bad about a big banana muffin. Can't complain. All right, so this is going to make a little bit more than a dozen, but that's okay. I'm going to throw in the first pan into the oven. And I would check them at about 10 minutes, and they probably won't take much longer than 15 minutes max to bake, but just give it a poke, make sure it resists your finger and it's not still uncooked on the inside. And there you go. And then, of course, the last part after baking, when I'm done with all of this batter, will be to lick the spoon. That's my favorite part. All right, so here they are fresh out of the oven. I made just over a dozen. I took a couple out already and put them onto a cooling rack. And it took about 18 minutes. I thought it would be slightly shorter, but 18 minutes at 350. Of course, adjust for your oven temperature. They all run a little different. And here you go, banana chocolate chip muffins.